Tide pools are some of the most unique ecosystems that we are able to observe and study within close quarters. Often described as being as diverse in organisms as the rainforest, these tide pools are the home of extremely adaptable animals, making them important for marine and ecological research. Tide pools are rocky pools that appear on the seashore. These pools appear in the intertidal zone and are only above water level during low tide. During high tide, they are completely covered. There are many famous locations with many tide pools, such as Shishi Beach in the Olympic National Park, Hazard Canyon in the Montana de Oro State Park, and North Point Beach in Morro Bay. Tide pools are very diverse ecosystems. There are both predators and prey. The energy produced by the vast organisms in these tide pools can be exported to the ocean or the land if the organisms are eaten by land animals such as humans and birds. Many birds will travel to these pools during low tide and use the nutrients as their main food source. Many sea creatures dwell in the tide pools. The sea star, commonly known as the starfish, are top predators in the tide pool, despite their lethargic appearance. Sea urchins are small, spiny animals that use their spines to protect themselves from predators. Mussels are a common type of mollusk that can exist in both fresh and saltwater settings. Hermit crabs are crustaceans with soft abdomens, which they protect by salvaging empty seashells. Sea anemones are predators known for their stinging tentacles used to kill prey. Only a few species of organisms can succumb to such harsh changes in conditions. These organisms must be able to survive in both wet and dry conditions. At high tide, they may experience temperature change and extreme wave action. At low tide, the rocks may heat up from the sun and may be exposed to winds. These organisms must adapt to withstand stress from harsh changes, wave turbulence, predation, and competition for food. Many of the smaller organisms can avoid drying out by closing their shells tight enough to seal in moisture. Animals like crabs and snails have thick outer coatings to slow the evaporation of water. Many choose to live underneath moist rocks or seaweed to retain moisture. Nutrients are obtained by waves during high tide, depositing organisms that are used as food and algae that lives on the rocks. The larger predators prey on the smaller animals as their main food source. Harvesting for food, bait, or personal aquariums has a large impact on the population of tide pools. Other negative human impacts include touching animals or changing the position of rocks, and shell collecting, as some shells may still contain living organisms when they are removed from the beach. Also, coastal runoff of pollution and chemicals and overall global climate change affects these tide pools negatively. However, when viewed from a safe distance, these tide pools offer tourists a glance into marine habitat without having to leave the beach.